What's up, Bomb Squad? It's Jason Sircone back with you here on Podcasting Strategy Simplified. It is episode 103, and today I'm answering another one of your burning questions. Today's question: what type of podcast format works best for building trust with an audience? Now, the traditional thought with podcasting is when you start a show, the best course of action is to bring on guests. And while I can't argue with that model because it's had tremendous success for millions of people, it's not necessarily the best approach if you want to build trust with your audience. And here's why I say that. When you bring on a guest, by definition, you are dividing the audience's attention between you and that guest. It's up to the audience to determine who is the expert that I should be paying attention to. Who should I be listening to on this podcast? And if they lean towards the guest, then more than likely the guest gets all the spoils once the episode is over. So based on the call to action that guest leaves, your audience may follow them. Now, they may come back for more of your content, but if you're continuously just doing content where you interview other experts, what could happen is the perception becomes that you're not the expert yourself. It's actually your guest. Therefore, by default, you're the person that interviews experts versus being the expert yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. If that's what you're looking to accomplish, it's not a bad thing. And of course, as you do those guest interviews, you're going to pick up skills that help improve your communication skills. And they're going to give you a bunch of transferable skills that you can move to other aspects of your personal and professional life. But if you're building podcast content so you can be positioned as the resource that your audience turns to because you have the answers that they're looking for, solo content is what you need to be doing. And you need to be doing more solo content than guest content. If you look at how I've structured Podcasting Strategy Simplified, I do way more solo content than I do guest content. For one, I love the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one like I'm doing here today. And it does make production a little bit easier because I'm not always in a position to where I need to find a guest and then prepare them for what we're going to talk about and then prepare myself for that guest and get to know them a little bit more. I can come to you, I can turn on my camera, I can turn on my microphone, I can have a great one-on-one conversation with you, and I can provide you with podcasting wisdom and knowledge and help amplify your direction and your overall purpose in the podcast space. That's what I want to do. That's what I do through coaching. That's what I've done with my clients in the past. So this podcast acts as an extension of everything that I'm doing within my business. Now, there will be times when I bring other guests on the show, and when I do that, it's a special occasion, I guess, to some degree, because we're not doing it every week. But at the same time, I don't focus on just having interviews. I focus on a conversation. My style of this is let's just talk. And people that have worked with me or collaborated with me know I don't hand them questions, nor do I even prepare questions. I prepare myself, but I go into that interview or I go into that recording session looking to have a conversation just as if it's someone sitting across from me at the coffee shop. That to me creates a much more engaging product, not just for you when you consume it, because that's the important part, of course, but when I'm working and collaborating with that other person, we can have a more deep, engaging experience. But overall, to answer the question, if you want to make deep connections, if you really want to build trust with your audience and get them invested in what you're doing, you need to lean into solo content. And you need to do it in a way to where if you're doing, let's say for every 10 episodes, you might only feature 1 to 2 guests. Now, at first, solo content may be a little bit intimidating, but overall, it's what you need to work on in order to build that trust, because you will be the only voice in the room that your audience is listening to. And therefore, by default, you're the expert. You are the resource that knows everything about this subject matter. And the more people dig what you have to say, the more they're going to stay on board with you, build that trust, and ultimately take the next step. Now, if solo podcasting is something that you are a little intimidated by, I just launched a 90-minute coaching module where I will work with you one-on-one to help develop your skill set and get you ready to lean into solo podcasting more efficiently and with much more clarity and confidence. All you need to do to access this course is go to bombtrackmedia.com/services, and you'll see the information about solo podcasting simplified. And with that, I'm going to bring down the curtain on this episode of Podcasting Strategy Simplified. Now, if you have a question that you would like to have featured here on the show, all you need to do is find the link in the show notes for SpeakPipe. You can record your question, and I will make sure that it is featured in an upcoming episode of this series. I kick off each and every week with these 5-minute question and answer episodes, and I would love to hear from you. So with that, we're closing it down for today. Until our paths cross again on the next episode of Podcasting Strategy Simplified, my name is Jason Sircone, reminding you that podcasting isn't easy, but it doesn't need to be complicated. I'll see you next time.